Well, I say your actors are pretty excited about this.
Yeah, they are, and what we've been doing with them on these off-season events, we bring them in. Of course, we're paying them, and they get food, and we've also been using the money that we raise in these off-season events to help them out on the property. 2 years ago on our first Valentine's event, we decided, hey, let's spend this money and let's air condition and heat the costume room so these guys feel nice and comfortable. And our Christmas event this year allowed us to renovate all the bathrooms on property to make them nicer for them. And I'm sure the money that comes off this event, we'll find some way to spend it on something good for them as well.
That's awesome. I mean, you're giving back to your employees, which in return they're going to give back to you in the performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my past started with being an actor as well, so anything I can do to help make my employees more comfortable while they're here. Our actors are the life force of the show. We can build the biggest, best sets that Tennessee has ever seen, but if we don't have good actors in those, those locations inside the haunted houses, they're just flat. They're not as good as they can be. So we really need good actors, and that's why we try to take care of them the best we can.
Well, it shows, because, of course, we attended Nashville Nightmare ourselves, and it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. We waited like over an hour, and still, I mean, it was a blast getting in there. I loved it.
Awesome. That's what we want to hear. We want everybody to have a really good time, and this will be our 6th year of Fear we're going into right now, and it's been a learning process all 5 years. Our numbers have been steadily increasing, and it's kind of a catch-22. The numbers go up, so you have bigger lines, more actors, and you're happy to see those bigger numbers go up, but so much easier when less crowd and so much less stress on your actors. Now we're having to figure out how to put this many people through each night, and inevitably we're going to have a snake pattern going through this attraction. You've been to Netherworld, you know exactly what that is. They basically open the door, and even if they split you up every 30 seconds, you catch up as soon as you're in there. So we're having to be creative on our scenes now. We're having to be creative on our scare points because, pretty much about 10 of our 21 nights last year was pretty much just a line going through the attraction. And we try our best to space it out, but with only roughly 5.5, 6 hours open, it's almost impossible. We'd be here till 4 a.m. if we split it up anymore. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do that for everybody so everybody continues to have a good time.
That is true, like you said, the line's catching up, but people move at their own pace, so really, unless you were pushing people through, then you're going to inevitably have...
Yeah, and we try to let our audiences know if you're going to come to Nightmare, if you can get here in early September, early October, it would help everybody out. It would help our actors. It would help other guests out. Inevitably there's that one Saturday that everybody wants to go to haunted houses, and our couple Fridays and Saturdays before that leading up, they're extreme capacity for us. So it's going to be waits, it's going to be times, and like I said, we're going to do our best to continue to create a very immersive environment with scares coming from left and right. So even if we have these big snake patterns going through the attraction, you still don't know where your scares are coming from, and you're getting hit left and right. And I'll tell you, we're just going to keep adding more actors. We're never going to shy on actors, and I think this year we're scheduled to have about 170 employees total on property now. That's up and about another 40 from last year. Last year we were about 130 total staff, and this year we're looking at 170. So we're going to, as long as people keep coming out and our numbers keep going up, we're going to keep adding and adding and adding.
You're going to have to add on to the building, I say, then, aren't you?
We have used every square foot possible by the end of this season. We have redesigned paths in the big building. We've added as much as we could possibly add on the second building. Our plan probably in 2017 is going to be going to the parking lot. That's the only space we have left. And our goal here was to have roughly anywhere from 3 to 5 attractions. We're going to have 4 this year. So hopefully next year we'll be able to do that 5th. And then we'll just get more creative with what we have.
I can see why y'all are named the best haunt in Tennessee. Was that?
Well, we've been called that. There's a lot of good haunts in Tennessee, so I'm not going to put us out there saying we are the greatest, but I do know we're a high quality show, and there'll be a lot of people that tell you we are the best in Tennessee, and we put a lot of man hours in here. There's always somebody here either 6 or 7 days a week working on our attractions. Our makeup and costume crew is constantly coming up with new things. One of our girls just yesterday, took one of our props, revamped it, and made Peter Pan for Fairy Tale Hell. So, there's always somebody here working on something, and that helps keep us on top, and it helps to keep us at pace where I want us to be. So yeah, they do a good job here.
You guys also do scents, like the smells when you go through a room. You get that that smell like a lot of places don't do. So you're getting the smell of the area, and then you got somebody jumping out at you too. It's just like a sense overload, like
sensory overload is what we call it.
Yeah, that's
not a lot of. There are some haunted houses that use that. Our buddies down in Columbia at Froggy's Fog actually create those scents, and I think last year we had 20-something different smells on property. That'll probably go up again this year, and this year we're also doing more floor effects. Our good buddy over at Death Yard, Carol Moore and his crew, we learned a little bit from them last year of just floor effects with stones and wood, and we've been meeting to get to that. We hadn't completely hit on it yet, but we're going to do a lot of that this year. So all over property, you're going to have just sensory overload, whether it's smells, floors, walls moving, characters from above, characters from below, sparks, just all kinds of stuff. Everywhere you go and turn, you're just going to have just crazy stuff to the left and right. It's going to be very, very over the top.
Yeah, that's one thing that I always, I like it saw on like Travel Channel. They go around to all haunts, but something about the ones that's coming from above, you're not expecting it. And when it does, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's all about that misdirection. And, we've addressed some of that this year. There are certain areas, because we walk through during the season and we see what's working and what's not, and we take mental notes. And we're always planning for the future, and we've definitely added in a couple spots this year that'll be coming from above. I'm not going to let you know where those are at.
Oh, no, I don't want to know.
Yeah. We'll sneak them in on you.
Well, that's awesome. I know this coming up haunt season, I'm definitely using the fast pass. Like I'm paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not waiting in line. I'm not sure why everybody does wait in line.
I've been told that our queue line actors are so good outside that some people don't want to buy the flash pass just because they enjoy interacting with them.
That's true.
Me myself, I like getting in and out of places, so I always, wherever I go, if I've got the availability to, I will buy a flash fast pass. But it's a testament to some of our queue line characters outside. They do such a good job. People want to hang out there with them, and we're going to add more spots for them outside as well this year. I think probably some nights we'll have upwards of 15 people in that parking lot this year.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome because, it's not like it's boring out waiting in line because when you see them creep up on people and scaring them and then they're screaming and hollering and you're just laughing. It is entertaining even on the outside.
Well, we learned a good couple years ago that guests here on our property are going to spend more time outside than they are in. With all 4 attractions this year, you're probably, it may take you an hour to get through everything here, but it may take you 2 hours just to get in. So we're going to keep coming up with stuff. We're looking at some pyro effects for outside. We've got a big 18-foot-tall pumpkin scarecrow guy that's going to be outside now. We've got a big dragon that'll be flying out there as well, which is representing Fairy Tale Hell. There's going to be music videos from different bands that we enjoy playing on the wall outside. We're going to be adding some more concessions, and we're looking at more acts to bring in just so while you're outside, you bought your ticket, so we're going to go ahead and entertain you. As soon as you get in there on this property, you're going to be entertained from the moment you get out of your car all the way until you get back in your car. That's our goal. We feel like we owe that to the public for coming out and waiting, so we're going to do our best to give them a quality product the whole time they're here.
From what I've seen and what I hear now, y'all are unstoppable. Y'all definitely gonna. I'm excited.
Well, we did. I haven't released it to a lot of people, but we did just close on a new 10-year lease on our property. So we've got this year, and then we've got another 10 years under our current contract. So we won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
Wow.
I'm definitely glad of that.
Yeah.
One question I was wanting to ask about is the Zombie Apocalypse Live, is it going to be like full contact, like where the zombies can touch you?
It will not, just because the cost of the gun, and say if our zombies come up and sneak up and somebody turns around with that gun in their hand, they could whack our zombies right across the head. So just from a liability standpoint with injuries, it will not be full contact for that one reason.
Okay, that's understandable.
Yeah, these guns cost quite a bit of money with CO2 canisters on them, and they could probably do some damage to the actors if somebody got too scared. So our actors, while they will be getting close, they won't be getting as close as they would in some instances like our full contact.
And speaking of the full talking about the full contact, me and my wife went to the Christmas one. That was full contact, right?
You went to the Valentine.
Valentine. I'm sorry, Valentine. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Valentine's our full contact now.
Yeah, that was that was first time I've ever been in full contact, and now I'm in love with it. It's like so much better to actually get to feel them grab on you?
Yeah, it's a specific show. I don't think we could operate it year round. There's too many people that don't want it, but there is a good amount of people that do want it. We did 2 full contact shows during the Halloween season on Thursday nights last year. We won't do that again because we had some people just showing up that wanted to go to a regular haunted house and they didn't want full contact, and we had to turn them away on those nights. So we're going to keep full contact a special. Every Valentine going forward will be full contact. Next year, it's going to be up at Horror High / Industrial Undead next year. We're going to start running these off-season shows to where you've got Christmas in Building A, Valentine's will be in Building B, Zombie Apocalypse Building A. If we do 2 Zombie Apocalypses next year, we'll split them up in Building B. Last year we did Movie Maniacs as part of our Valentine's event. We're actually looking at doing that sometime around Memorial Day next year. Our goal would be probably 5 off-season shows. We'd be looking at Christmas, Valentine's, 1 or 2 Zombie Apocalypses, and then a Movie Maniacs event. May is kind of like the start of the movie season, summer blockbusters, so it seems like a good time for us to do 1 show during that time period, or, around Memorial Day, and do our Movie Maniacs again, which we had lots of success with. We're never going to put an attraction in that's specifically movie characters. There's always licensing issues if you're using their names and such, but we had so many people just enjoy seeing some of the sets being tweaked for their favorite horror icons, and us personally here, a lot of us grew up on watching those characters, so we enjoy putting them in as well. So we're going to look at doing that next year, and that'll give us a whole slew of shows for people to come to, and the key is to change those shows up. You don't want to open the doors with the exact same experience that they had right before. That's why Christmas, we're going to deck it out with different decorations and changing things. Valentine's, we'll change some stuff up, so it'll never be the exact same show when you come to something in the off season.
Yeah, I definitely need to catch out the Christmas show. That's one.
It's fun.
I like Christmas. I like lights, and and horror Christmas would just be awesome. I definitely need it.
And we've got we did it 2 nights last year, and we're trying to debate that we need to do 2 weekends. That's something I'll have to decide on during the season, but we may extend the Christmas event to 2 weekends because we had such a big turnout for it. We had hour and a half waits for Christmas to get in on those 2 nights. So
oh wow,
we were blowing snow over everybody out in the line, but just to be able to have characters like Jack Frost and some of these evil Christmas things that we did was pretty cool, and people enjoyed it a lot. We'll definitely be doing that show again. We've got some big plans for it.
Getting me pumped up, ready.
Yeah, Jim Jan, he's a big haunt guy. He loves haunted houses, and getting into the business. Like, how did you end up getting into the business? Did you start out? You said you started out as an actor, but as far as a haunt itself, I know some people actually create haunts at their house. Residential.
Yeah, absolutely. That's where it all started, actually. We did a big issue. We did a big article with HauntWorld.com a couple months back, and it dove into kind of the history of where we came from. And but when I was little, we started putting haunted houses in my granddad's basement. It was an old creepy basement. We loved haunted houses when we were kids. Used to decorate the outside of our house. Loved to go to Gatlinburg and hit up the mysterious mansion. So when we came back home, my brothers and myself, let's build a haunted house down in Papa's basement. So going through that got us really pumped up. And then, Shelby Park had a couple small haunted houses to raise money for the ballpark. And I would act in those. And then, I met some people in Opryland that worked at Horror High back in the day, the original Horror High. So they got me involved with that, and that just got the taste in me. And being an actor all those years and staff member, probably, I guess, 2003, I went to Knoxville, Tennessee. I also own Halloween Express retail stores, so I bought the Knoxville market. And after a year there, people kept saying, you need to put a haunted house up here. You need to put a haunted house up here. So my second year in Knoxville, we opened our first haunted house, the Factory of Darkness. Had a $10,000 budget, and it surprisingly went very well. We did that for 2 years. When the Nashville market came available for Halloween Express, I bought back into it. Left Knoxville, came back home, and that very first year we came back, I believe that was probably 2006. That was the first year I opened Antioch Asylum. And Antioch Asylum went very well. However, it was a temporary deal, and at the end of the season we had to tear down. There was another haunted house that same year that opened in Murfreesboro, Salem Asylum or something like that, and there was a big news report that they didn't pay their actors. We had news crews calling us up, hey, why didn't you pay your actors? Excuse me, we paid every actor, we pay everybody. But just to differentiate, the next year we moved back into that building, and we kind of did a little bit of partnership with the Devil's Dungeon attraction, and we decided to be known as Demon's Den and co-advertise. Those 3 years we were in that space were all temporary. We had to set up, tear down, set up, tear down, set up, tear down, and we weren't able to build the type of sets that I wanted, being in such a temporary fashion. It was also eating into our profit line, having to set up and tear down. It was a lot of labor dollars, a lot of storage fees. We did Haunted Nashville out in Hermitage in 2009, myself and two of the partners, and let's just say we all didn't see eye to eye, so two of us left that. And in 2011, I decided, I finally found what I consider a permanent location in Nashville Nightmare. I'm going to go ahead and sign a long-term lease, and we're going to build the attraction that I always wanted to build in Nashville, and we're going to do something that other haunted houses haven't quite done yet. We're going to build very, very detailed sets. We're going to try and compete with any other haunted house on having the best actors. We're going to pay our actors the best. We're going to give our guests the biggest bang for their buck. And I feel like we've accomplished that, and I feel like we're ahead of where we're supposed to be right now. We've had other haunted houses show up that have been in business for a long time and say, there's no way this is just a 5-year haunted house. This feels like a 10, 15-year haunted house that you guys have created. And that's just a testament to our build crew and our creative control that we have here and how well everybody's done over a 5-year period.
Well, I guess over the time where you've had all of these other haunts that you start, it kind of all the experience goes into this. Hey, that gives that the feel of it, right?
I would say so. Everything's always a learning experience. I've made some very good decisions in the haunted attraction industry, and I've made some very poor ones. Made money on some sides, and some other stuff I've done, we've lost money. But just like any life experience, you got to learn from your mistakes, and you try again, and you get stronger. And that's what we've done here at Nightmare. We haven't made all the right decisions at Nightmare by far, but we've made some pretty daggum good ones. And we put money where it needs to be put, and we focused heavily on other areas. There's sometimes we just walk through the attraction. It just feels good to walk through something that you're proud of. You see the set, and you're like, it feels good when somebody comes in here and says, this looks like something out of Universal Studios, or this looks like something out of the Haunted Mansion. It's so much detail, and it gets you proud, and I think a lot of our workers are pretty proud just to be here and be a part of it as well. And like I said, whatever you can learn from, you got to put that to your use, and I think we've done that pretty well.